Apparently, there was an injury on the field in Green Bay, Wisconsin, that led to the shutdown of the game. They terminated the game early, which is incredibly rare. And you had a strong reaction to it. Here's your tweet. Football died Saturday night in Green Bay, Wisconsin, when New England Patriots defensive back Isaiah Bolden collided with a teammate, laid motionless on the ground, and was carted off the field. Minutes later, the NFL made the call to end the game. Football's death was not acute. It was a slow, painful death that paralleled the rise of American feminism and the revolt against all things masculine. It's really a damn shame. I thought it was interesting because my first reaction, maybe because I'm a soft lady, was, oh no, the guy got hurt. They had to shut the game down. He was that hurt. What happened? But then I kept reading and found out he's already out of the hospital. It doesn't sound like he was all that hurt. Why did they shut the game down? And explain your thinking on it.
Well, it's a new normal that we're establishing in professional football and just football in general. And this is Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bill player that had to have CPR performed on the field during a Monday Night Football game last season. They ended up canceling that game. And now we're here in a new season, preseason game. Megyn, I'm a former college football player. I've covered football my entire life. These types of injuries that Isaiah Bolden suffered, commonplace in football. We've been continuing with games for 70, 80 years, despite injuries like that. There was an NFL football player that died on the field, and the game went on. But now we're in this new era of choosing safety over everything. And again, that's, I don't mean this to be diminishing or condescending or a negative statement, but I get why women choose safety. And I think it's an instinctive thing. When you have a womb, when a child develops inside you, you crave safety more than taking risk, more than freedom. And so men have always been more risk-taking and play fast and loose with our lives. We were roughnecks that fell off buildings, building skyscrapers, Evel Knievel. When I was a kid, used to, jump things, cars and fountains on a motorcycle and just do all kinds of silly things. Men take risks. And that had been our nature. As the country has become more feminized and more matriarchal, men are now adverse to risk, and we're starting to choose safety at all costs. And so they've normalized something in football now where, oh my God, there's a bad injury on the field. We better shut this down. No one can play. This is too, and guys are making millions upon millions of dollars for playing this game. They know the risk of the game. They just don't want to take the risk or suffer the consequences of that risk when guys used to do it all the time. In a preseason game 45 years ago, it's one of the most devastating hits in NFL history. A New England Patriot wide receiver, Darryl Stingley, got hit by an Oakland Raiders safety, Jack Tatum, and was paralyzed. The game continued, and it was a preseason game. And look, I'm not saying this is right, but the Patriots got on an airplane and were ready to fly home while Darryl Stingley was still in the hospital. And the opposing coach, John Madden, called them and hunted them down. Was like, hey, man, before y'all leave, somebody better come over here and check on your player, Darryl Stingley, in the hospital, because John Madden was there. I'm not saying but I'm just telling you, that's what the mentality of football used to be. And now we're adopting a softer, safety-first mentality that's not healthy. It's not what men are supposed to do, and it's a reflection of a society that has become very secular. And so when you become secular and you have no idea what happens to you in the afterlife, you value this life more than you do life with God, you now develop an unnatural fear of death or an unhealthy fear of death. that will stop you. Again, this current mentality, if there was a civil war over slavery, most men would not participate. If we were back with Jim Crow and laws on the books that penalize Black people, most men wouldn't take the kind of risk, protest, face police dogs, do all the things that they did to overcome that. That there's a reason why our nature to take risks is actually a healthy thing and needs to be protected, because that's how we correct a lot of our problems, by
It's so hard,
sacrificing
I
our
have to
lives.
say. As a mother of, 2 boys and a girl, I know this is true. And I know that I should be encouraging them to take risks. I feel the need to say sort of reasonable risks. I don't want crazy risks taken, but it's so hard, right? Because especially when they're little, my boys are 13 and 10. All you want to do is protect them. Every instinct, every part of your body is protect, protect, protect. Stay in the bike lane. Get over there. Get toward the sidewalk. Be careful. Be careful on your dive into that pool. Like everything. That's like our whole job is to keep them well. And in our family, sure enough, my husband is more like, they're fine, relax, you can do it, And I do think that's the way nature intended it. Like, I think we're both biologically programmed to be a little bit more like that, at least when it comes to our children. And yet, you're right. Society is moving way more toward the protect, safe space, as opposed to take risks, assess, take smart risks. Don't be an idiot. Don't drive drunk, don't, whatever. But I see what you're saying. I don't know what to do. I feel like, do we need now as women to overcorrect, to like check our instincts to be the safety monitors? Like, do we need to be more like, get out there into the traffic? Like, what's the answer?
The problem is not, you guys shouldn't do anything. Men just need to be men, and men need to, draw some boundaries here in terms of and just have an understanding. Again, we would have never ended slavery in this current mentality, and we wouldn't go off and storm the beaches of Normandy. We wouldn't do many of the heroic things. That we wouldn't get up on skyscrapers and fall to our deaths in search of progress and things like that, because everybody's afraid to die. And there's just, men used to understand the consequences of progress. And so I don't think people fully grasp, like, the guys that went off to war in the Civil War and did everything to sign up to participate in that war, they knew that death was a real possibility and perhaps even likely, or some type of injury. But we were willing to do that to have that progress happen. And so when you start creating a culture where everything is evaluated about, well, how safe is it going to be? Is there any risk? Well, let's don't do it. It's too risky. And so it's a byproduct of, and we had a very patriarchal culture where men, argued amongst themselves and kind of decided, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what's going to happen. And in the name of progress, we've invited everyone into the discussion. And in the name of progress, we're going to take steps backwards. And many of the things that we're experiencing right now, the things we've been talking about with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all the reverse racism and all, men won't stand up and be leaders and say, you know what? I'm not going for this.
Back to school is here, but sadly, there's one subject that is rarely discussed, and that's money. Millions of kids and teens eventually graduate completely unprepared for the financial decisions awaiting them. Schools are not teaching it. Imagine if you started saving and investing when you were 10. You could have been buying Apple stock at a few dollars per share. And it's not just investing. We need to actively teach our kids about earning and saving. So parents, listen up. We have a new sponsor called Busy Kid, a super easy to use app designed to empower your children with financial literacy and responsibility. Parents pay allowance to their kids for chores, and then the kids get to manage their money in different buckets: savings, spending, investing, and giving. Your kids even get their own debit card tied to their Busy Kid account. Do your kids a favor and provide the head start they will need. Busy Kid is offering a limited time special that's 20% off an annual subscription, so less than $4 a month. Go to busykid.com for more details or just download the app and use our promo code MK for 20% off your order. busykid.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.